Okay, welcome everybody to this general committee meeting. And it is exactly 9 a.m. and I'd like to call the meeting to order. With that, Councillor Stone, you're reading the land acknowledgement, please.
I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe under the terms of the Robertson-Huron Treaty number 61 of 1850 and the Williams Treaties of 1923. We commit to acknowledge, learn, educate, create opportunity, honor sacred spaces, and take actions towards real truth and reconciliation in support of our commitment to walking the path together in respect, peace, and harmony for future generations.
Thank you very much for that, Councillor Stone. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none, I am going to move along to, we do not have invited or ceremonial presentations, but we do have a deputation today. Before I do that, I've got my agenda. I'm sorry. I do have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Armour, seconded by Councillor Schumacher. It is recommended that the General Committee meeting agenda dated Wednesday, July 30th, 2025 be adopted as printed and circulated with the removal of item 5.2, Lisa Brooks, Happy Trails Pet Resort, redevelopment charges deferral request, and item 7.1, deputation discussion. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? That carries. Thank you. Now to our deputations, and we do have one deputation from Elizabeth Hopkins from the Muskoka Breastfeeding Coalition regarding National Breastfeeding Week community flag raising request. Would you like to come forward, please? Welcome. And there are two people, Elizabeth, and you'll hopefully introduce yourselves when you sit down. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Hopkins, and I'm a public health nurse from Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit. Unfortunately, Anne-Marie Toussaint was actually supposed to be with us today, but we have an amazing replacement that will speak with me. So Jocelyn Latter is a midwife from Muskoka Midwives, and we're presenting to you today on behalf of the Muskoka Breastfeeding Coalition. And I'll let...
Thanks. So we're here to discuss National Breastfeeding Week. The theme for National Breastfeeding Week this year is prioritize breastfeeding, create sustainable support systems. So the goals this year are to highlight the critical connection between breastfeeding, environmental sustainability, and climate change. So the week of October 1st to 7th marks National Breastfeeding Week in Canada. On behalf of the Muskoka Breastfeeding Coalition, we respectfully request your Huntsville Town Council support in recognizing this important week in our Huntsville community by raising the International Breastfeeding Symbol flag. Communities across Canada will be participating, and acknowledgement by the town of Huntsville would be a meaningful contribution to this national initiative. National Breastfeeding Week in Canada is an initiative to raise awareness of the numerous benefits of breastfeeding, to strengthen individual, family, and community support for breastfeeding, and also to advance strategies that promote breastfeeding. So as a natural and renewable food source, breastfeeding is environmentally friendly, produced and delivered without pollution, without packaging, without any waste, I guess beyond 1 million diapers, but that comes one way or another. So supporting breastfeeding not only promotes health, but it helps to reduce the environmental impact of formula production and greenhouse gas emissions that contribute to global warming, which seems to have fallen off provincial and federal conversations these days, but is still quite significant and important for local and municipal action. So breastfeeding continues to be recognized as the healthiest way to nourish babies, and it offers long-lasting benefits to both babies and breastfeeding parents. Exclusive breastfeeding is recommended for the first 6 months of life, and continued breastfeeding for 2 years and beyond. It provides unique nutritional and non-nutritional long-term benefits for an infant's growth and development. So just some of the benefits to the child are that it can help protect against childhood diabetes and obesity. It can help reduce the risk of infections associated with ear, chest, and stomach. It can also protect against asthma and other allergies, will reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome or SIDS, can help prevent tooth decay, and also promotes optimal brain development. Some of the benefits of breastfeeding for the parent is a reduced risk of breast and ovarian cancer, reduced rates of osteoporosis later in life, and it also enables a breastfeeding parent to sustain their infant independently. In addition to that, the benefits to community and family are that it can reduce the actual cost burden on families and can protect the environment by reducing waste and demands on fossil fuels related to production and distribution. It can improve the health and well-being of our population, and with that in mind, it can decrease healthcare costs, fewer doctor's visits, fewer hospital visits, which will, in the big picture, contribute to long-term healthcare savings. Not to mention the improved productivity, because nothing will keep parents out of work quicker than a sick child. So not only is breastfeeding a public health issue for infants and parents, it's an important part of overall community well-being, which aligns with many goals of local governments.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. So right now we know that the intention to feed exclusive breastfeeding or breast milk has significantly decreased, and the intention to combination feed has significantly increased. So that meaning that families are choosing to use both breast milk and formula. Only 78.8% of people in Simcoe Muskoka who gave birth plan to feed their baby exclusive breast milk. Out of that 78.8% who intended to breastfeed, only 58.6% of babies in Simcoe Muskoka were exclusively breastfeeding at initiation, so right from birth. So we have a huge number, and it's actually decreasing more and more every year. So Health Canada, like Jocelyn said, and the World Health Organization recommends feeding infants exclusively with breast milk until 6 months of age. Only 1 in 5 babies are exclusively breastfed to 6 months in Simcoe and Muskoka, so we're quite low. The Muskoka Breastfeeding Coalition is dedicated to protecting and promoting and supporting breastfeeding families. Breastfeeding is of benefit to everyone. Efforts must be made to ensure access to breastfeeding support and opportunities. We encourage all levels of government, along with communities and families, to close the gap in breastfeeding inequalities and support breastfeeding for all. These are some, I'll just go through, my apologies. These are some of the previous Muskoka Breastfeeding Coalition bridge and flag raising events that we've had. This includes the Town of Huntsville Swing Bridge, Port Carlings Bridge, the Town of Bracebridge flag raising, as well as the Gravenhurst Farmers Market. As breastfeeding is a community effort, we have a role to play to support breastfeeding families. Whether you are family or friends, community members, municipal government, healthcare, workplace, there are things we can do to empower and support breastfeeding. It's also valuable to know where families can go to get help. This includes our new in-person Muskoka Breastfeeding Support Group, which was created in partnership with the many passionate people that sit around the coalition table and the Public Health Department. So we asked the Town of Huntsville to approve the Muskoka Breastfeeding Coalition as a community non-for-profit committee for flag raisings. We asked the Town of Huntsville to recognize National Breastfeeding Week and raise the international breastfeeding flag. We invite you to join us in encouraging and supporting breastfeeding in our community, ensuring a healthier future for our children and our planet. Thank you for considering our request today.
Elizabeth and Jocelyn, thank you very much for coming in today. I had no idea that the numbers were decreasing as dramatically as you just told us. And so I think, you know, once again, the importance of coming in and doing deputations like this it's really good and really appreciated. We do have a report on this a little bit later in the meeting, but in the meantime, are there questions from, yes, Councillor Stowe?
Thank you. So I know the first few weeks are really difficult for mom and baby to get in a routine and get over some hurdles with pain and other things that shouldn't be happening. But do we have a Leleche League to help
So we, unfortunately, we don't have
okay.
a Letch League anymore. So just prior to COVID, that's when our last leader, her children got older, of course. It's a volunteer position to be a Lalesh leader. And unfortunately, we do not have any leaders right now in our community that are willing to take on that responsibility. The Lalesh leader, if you don't know, is up every night supporting women in the middle of the night, trying to continue breastfeeding. And it's a big role. It's a big role that is a free voluntary role. So it's a passionate person. And as of yet, we don't have someone that's come forward. We've been working on it for about a year and a half now, and we still don't have anybody from the community that would like to come forward and take that role on, which is sad.
Thanks.
Thank you for that question, Councillor Stone. And maybe now that it's open and that you've just discussed it, maybe if anybody's listening to this, who knows, right? Councillor Renwick.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, ladies, for coming this morning. As a mother of three who nursed all three of her children for at least a year, I appreciate the work that you're doing. The thing that I remember, and it was years ago that I did this, but there's still, and I don't know if this contributes to the fact that there are less women doing it. There's still not a stigma, but there is it's difficult to be in public and to be nursing, and which is terrible to think that you're feeding your child. But the number of times that I would have to go and sit in a washroom or sit somewhere away from where I was, and again, this was 30 years ago, but I think that stigma is still there, and I'm so thankful that you're here bringing awareness to it. That it is, the fact that I want to feed my child, I don't have to go sit in a bathroom or hide it from something or someone because someone might be offended by seeing part of my body. Right. And I think I don't want to get on my horse about that, but that's, I'm so thankful that you're here talking about this today, because I think there's still, there's a whole issue with it, but I'm glad you're here, and I 100% support this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Oh, did you want to
I was just
respond,
going to say
Elizabeth?
that
Sorry.
we've done a lot of promotion about breastfeeding in public, and encouraging that it's a human right. It's a human right to breastfeed in public.
That's good. Are there any other questions? I'm not seeing any, so thank you again. And as I said, we do have a report that's a positive report. Thank you. And with that, I am turning over the chair to Councillor Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Your Worship. Okay. Welcome. I have moved by Nancy Alcock, seconded by Dan Armour, whereas in April 2025, Council agreed to transfer the ownership of the following St. Mary's Anglican Church cemeteries: 93 Boddings Road, 179 Maws Hill Road, and 323 Raymond Road. Now, therefore, it is recommended that committee approve the additional cemetery operation costs of $5,800 as outlined in Report Ops 2025-9 to be funded in 2025 and 26 through the divisional operational savings, with any variances reported in the quarterly forecast. Here we go. Who's starting?
Good morning, Council, and through you, Chair Fitzgerald. Thank you for having us. Marie and I are here to report. We are asking for approval to take ownership of the three cemeteries, which is 93 Bottomley Road, 179 Maw Hill Road, and 323 Raymond's Road. Maw and Raymond will be inactive, and Bottoms will be active. There will be $5,800 added to the cemetery operations budget. This will help with having a contractor look after the inactive and having town staff look after the active cemetery. Do you have anything you want to add?
Thank you for that report. Are there any questions? Councillor Stone.
Thank you. So a question, can we refuse? I thought the province dictates to us that we must take care of derelict cemeteries.
Through you, Chair Fitzgerald. We are, with the abandonment process, if they go that way, then we will be obligated to take the cemetery. So we are better off to work with the churches on this process.
Thank you.
Councillor Schumacher.
So yes, currently does the active one has a board and they have been selling those properties? So would we take over that? Like if there's, the treasurer has some funds, that kind of thing, do we take over that?
Through you, Chair Fitzgerald. Yes, the town will be looking after, will be taking all of the care and maintenance fund over to the corporation. And then the town staff will be looking after the cemetery.
Okay. Any further questions? So I'm seeing none. I'll call the question. All in favor? And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. That was a tough one. I'll pass it along to Councillor Morrison, take over as chair for additional reports, corporate services.
I
Over
hope
to you,
the rest
Councillor
are
Morrison.
just as easy. Thank you, Chair Fitzgerald. And I must say, good work early in the morning today. You just nailed it, you know? You're at your best, you know, you're just at your best. 9 o'clock. Oh boy, inside jokes. Okay, so for corporate services, we're going to start off with 6.5.1. Tracy Miller will present on Corp 2025-57, amendment to the flag protocol and clock tower lighting policy, Appendix 2. And I do have a motion that is moved by Councillor Schumacher, second by Mayor Alcock. It is recommended that committee approve the request to amend Appendix 2 of the Town of Huntsville Flag Protocol and Clock Tower Lighting Policy to include the addition of Muskoka Breastfeeding Coalition organization to the list of pre-approved organizations. And Tracy, I'll pass it on.
Good morning, and through you, Chair. Staff have reviewed the applications submitted by the Muskoka Breastfeeding Coalition. So our current policy outlines the criteria that for the community flag raisings. So this organization does fall within that, and staff feel that the application should be approved, that it meets within the policy.
Thank you very much. Any questions on this? I mean, we just had our questions to the people that presented, but Deputy Mayor Emmer?
Thanks, Chair Morrison. Just a quick one, maybe more of a comment. I'm just wondering, do we have enough flagpoles for all the flags we're getting? We have to buy some more flagpoles.
We might need a second one. And I think, Tracy, you can answer that. We do have enough weeks in the year available to fit this one in.
Yes, that is definitely one thing staff did investigate, whether or not it was going to clash or collide with any other group or organization, and thankfully they fall right in a great category, like right in a sweet spot, I suppose.
Okay, so it's meant to be.
It is meant to
Councillor
be.
Cloutier?
Through you, Chair, thanks. I noticed, I think it could have been Bracebridge, where they had the banner over the bridge. We could probably do that on our bridge, can we? No?
Yeah,
Oh, that's district? Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's district. I know it looks like we've done that in the past based on their presentation. So perhaps somebody could follow up with them and suggest they apply to whoever it is that's appropriate. Okay.
Yes, so we can definitely look into that if that is something that council would like.
And thank you, Councilor Cloutier. I know from our family experience, the struggles for a mom even going through all that, it's not a lot of fun. And so any awareness we can bring is amazing. Okay, I don't think we have any more questions, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? And that carries. Thank you, Tracy. And we are moving on to 6.5.2. Lauren McDermott is here to present on report number Corp 2025-56, MAT Budget Principles Policy Repeal and Replace. I do have a motion that is moved by Councillor Renwick, seconded by two Renwicks. Councillor Renwick, seconded by Councillor Schumacher. It is recommended that committee approve the Municipal Accommodation Tax Funding Principles Policy as presented in report Corp 2025-56, and further that budget and financial 20 Municipal Accommodation Tax Budget Principles Policy adopted by Resolution GC 178-21 be repealed. And Lauren, it's all yours.
Through you, Councillor Morrison. So the Municipal Accommodation Tax MAT Funding Principle Policy Draft has been updated, and this is what we have brought forward for review. Essentially, it showcases the town's commitment to improve resident quality of life and supporting for strategic initiatives. So it's just been streamlined a little bit more, updated to emphasize the focus and the connection with strategic initiatives and goals, and how we utilize the MAT funds, our portion of the MAT. So I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, Mayor Alcock.
Thank you, Chair Morrison, and thank you, Lauren. It's not a question, it's a comment. I just want to say how much I really enjoyed reading this. I love the simplicity in it, and it took out, as you said, it's not complicated, it's really straightforward, and it's flexible enough that we can, as we did the other night, add something if we need to. So very much like this. Thank you. Good report.
Thank you. Councillor Stone.
Thanks. In our current budget and the budget for next year, it seems like we've used the MAT tax to reduce the tax levy in a few ways. Does this new version identify that it's not going to be used in ongoing projects, only new and specially identified projects?
Director Frame might want to jump on that one because we had a discussion about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So through you, Chair Morrison. So the point of the policy is that anything that's funded through the MAT has to improve the resident quality of life and meet at least one strategic plan, goal, or initiative. So if we can argue that sort of the ongoing cost improves the quality of life for our resident and meets a strategic plan initiative, then yes, absolutely. There are certain exceptions to that are included in the policy, including the MAT administration costs. So all of the costs that go into collecting the MAT, because it directly relates to that program. The other is promotion and marketing advertising costs for our tourism related assets. So our Algonquin Theatre, our MHP, those types of costs, because the MAT is also meant to support tourism. Our tourism initiatives are covered by our tourism entity, HMATA, right? So, but because the town owns MHP and the theater, we do have some ongoing costs related to those in terms of promoting them and really trying to build up that tourism component for our own assets. So those are sort of two exceptions that are ongoing costs. Everything else really is, will it improve the quality of life of residents? So if it's, a new program, and I know we discussed this at council on Monday night, the transit and how we could fund that. So the first year, the initial year, absolutely, because it's improving the quality of life of our residents. But ongoing, I'm not sure that it really does that. So we just need to be very careful on, does it meet those two criteria?
Thank you, Director Frame. And Councillor Stone with a
So
follow-up.
I just want to follow up about using it to reduce the tax levy, because it's so broad that we could say, oh, well, that helps tourism, or that helps the residents. And so anyways, can you answer about, if we've got extra money in the MAT fund, how do we not use that simply to reduce the tax levy?
So through you, Chair Morrison. So absolutely, reducing the tax levy improves the quality of life of our residents. So, right? That does. But does it meet a strategic plan initiative is the other criteria. So if it does, and we can argue that it does, that's up to council's discretion. I have to caution, because you made a comment about if we've got extra money in the MAT reserve, and we have allocated our MAT funds. So we don't have extra money in the MAT reserves as it stands right now. And I mean, if we've got, a lot more tourism than we're expecting, then we'll collect more MAT. That's fantastic. But at this point, we don't have that extra pot of money that could be used to offset regular operations.
And I think I'll speak to that because I know, Councillor Stone, you've always been worried about the nickel and diming out of the MAT tax funds for certain things. I would say the answer is it comes down to us. Like we're the ones that have to decide whether we're willing to do that. And I do know at times when we've dipped into the MAT for these things, Director Frey and Director McKenzie would say, no, guys, just so you know. So it was us that make those decisions. So we need to be more conscious of that. Councillor Renwick.
Thank you, Chair Morrison, through you. Thank you, Lauren. So you said there's a name change, so it's called now the MAT funding. What was it called before? Because there's HMATA. Is it HMATA and now it's MAT? No. I didn't.
Through you, Councillor Morrison. So it was previously just called the Municipal Accommodation Tax Budget Principles. So
Right.
we just switched out budget to be funding principles.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's all I need.
And the confusion sometimes is with, not a lot of people in the public know HMATA is the third, arm's length, third-party organization. Technically nothing to do with us, other than me sitting on the board, so. Any other questions on this item? Okay, with that, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That carries. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, moving right along, Director McKenzie is not here today, but I think Suzanne's going to present. And this is 6.5.3 regarding report number Corp 2025-62 Cemetery Trust Funds Investment Management. And I do have a motion. Moved by Deputy Mayor Armour, seconded by Councillor Cloutier. It is recommended that the treasurer be delegated the authority to enter into agreements for the management of the cemetery trust funds, and further that an amendment to the delegation of authority bylaw be presented to council for final consideration. Suzanne, it's all yours.
Thank you. Through you, Chair Morrison. So this report seeking committee approvals for moving the management of the cemetery trust funds to an investment management firm and the change up in the delegation of authority. So I'm available for any questions.
Excellent. Any questions on this? Just one thing that did come up in agenda review is we can't put it into the one JIB fund, so that's why we're trying to do this delegated authority, so Director McKenzie can invest it as needed. Councillor Renwick.
Thank you, Chair Morrison. Just through you. So the party that's going to be doing the investing for us, obviously they'll report back to see how much we spend or how much we pay them to do this for us. That'll be part of the report. And we don't expect it to be a huge amount of money to, we don't know yet, right, do we?
I don't know off the top of my
No,
head. Sorry, but that we can. I would expect we would report back
Sure.
on that.
Thank you.
And we're delegating authority to Suzanne and Julie to make the right decisions. So any other questions on that? With that, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That carries. Okay, now we are moving on to 6.5.5, our last item, and Sam's first report to council. So this is very exciting. And we didn't make her wear the rookie hat that we usually do for first reports. We're taking it easy on her. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to you guys for report number Corp 2025-61, the 2025 Q2 forecast. And I do have a motion on this, moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Morrison. Is that allowed? No. So I'm going to, nope, unless it's underneath here somewhere. Oh, it's underneath. I have a separate one. Oh, that's the vesting ownership. Okay, but it has me on it. So I'll just change it to, I'll just go to Councillor Renwick. We'll be on there. So I'll change that. So moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Renwick. It is recommended that the town of Huntsville vest ownership of the properties in report Corp 2025-59 and write off the taxes owing against the properties. And further that once the properties have been vested in the town's name, the town-owned land working group will review potential options such as merging the lands with abutting properties in an effort to remove the municipality's need for ownership and potential liability. Sam, over to you.
So good morning. Thank you for having me. So through you, Chair Morrison, these two properties went through the tax sale process and they had no successful bids at that time. So now we have the option as the town to vest these properties and write off the taxes owing. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on these? Deputy Mayor Emmer.
Just a quick question about abutting landowners. Is there any opportunity to actually offer that property to those people who may not have seen the tax sale and might want to purchase it without owing taxes?
So it is an option that we're going to explore. We are going to meet with our working group in August, and we have these two properties on our agenda at that time to discuss options such as that and legalities of those options. And I believe we'll be bringing that back.
Yeah, that's a good question, Deputy Mayor. That come up in agenda review because the one is just a little triangle on Menominee Road. And then if you remember during the tax sale process, the one on 7 Henry Street, we thought would be, wow, this is a great piece of land, but the slope and everything else just doesn't work for anybody but the owners. So that'll be on the agenda for sure. Any other questions on this one? Okay, with that, I'll call the question. All those in favor? All right, Sam, you got an easy one for your first one. Thank you. That passes. Okay, I've got another. Oh, you know what? I think I read the wrong motion in that last. I didn't read the vesting motion. I read the last, did I? I read the vesting. Okay, so we got one last one to go. See, I don't perform as well in the morning, Councillor Fitzgerald.
I was gonna comment.
Come back to me at 7 o'clock tonight and I'll nail this for sure. So on this one, we have Suzanne Diller reporting on report number Corp 2025-61, 2025 Q2 forecast. And I do have a motion moved by Mayor Alcock, seconded by Councillor Renwick. It is recommended that committee approve the 2025 Q2 budget deviations that have not yet been previously approved by motion as outlined in Appendix B of report Corp 2025-61.
Good morning. Thank you again, Chair Morrison. So we put together our second quarter report for committee today. It provides a year-end update on our operation and where we are with budget. We have some attachments, appendices included in the report. There's a deviation list, reserve forecast, and capital budget or capital project forecast, which we present monthly anyways. So I'm available for any questions.
All right, any questions on this forecast? Keep in mind, it's a forecast, it's not final. We're gonna have every quarter coming forward. Numbers will be adjusted by the end of the year. For instance, something come up in agenda review, when you see certain departments with negative balances, it's because of hiring certain staff that we needed to hire that might be adjusted in the fall to balance out to a lower number. So don't be alarmed by the numbers, they're actually pretty good. And if there are no questions, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That carries. Thank you. Wow, that was the quickest corporate review ever. I was joking around that we'd only get one question each motion, but here we are. With that, I'm going to pass the chair back to Mayor Alcock.
Why, thank you. And that was very fast. Thank you for that. I have to say, Chair Morrison, that I love your explanations. It's good. I appreciate that for each one, especially the last one. So appreciate it.
I'll say sometimes when you have agenda review, I feel sometimes we have
It's
some
really
inside
helpful.
baseball, so it's good to
Yeah,
pass it on.
no, and it's great. So I actually have one motion left. That's it. It has been moved by Councillor Clark and seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. It is recommended that we do now adjourn at 9:33 a.m. How about that? Do you want any discussion around that? Maybe could we make it 9:35 a.m.? Okay, I don't see any discussion. So all those in favor? And that